We talked about Malcolm Brogdon a little bit. Giannis, right?
Okay.
Do we think they can get back to the finals next year? Let's ask that question first, and I'll put it to you and talk a little bit about what I feel about it. But I'll ask you that first. Do you think they can get back to the finals this year?
I think that if they stay healthy, that is a huge possibility. I think that everybody's like, oh, it was just Chris Middleton, but Chris Middleton played a big part in the movement of Milwaukee. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Milwaukee is a built team just like Golden State is a built team. It's not a team that has multiple superstars and not a team that has, a lot of moving parts like that. So if the whole system is not in place, it is a issue.
I agree with that. I think I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Here's why. Budenholzer's whole game plan literally takes a massive bet. They give up the three-pointer. As teams get more proficient at shooting the three-pointer, if you're not shooting it at the same proficiency, you'll get blown out of the gym.
But we don't know if that'll be the case next year. We aren't in the gym with them, so we don't know what they're doing to make themselves better this year.
I'm in agreement. And so what it requires, and we had this conversation yesterday or the day before about asterisks. I'm not saying that the title the Bucks got has an asterisk. I'm only looking at the razor thin margin of error that the Bucks had in being able to overcome the Nets, right? If KD hits the shot, okay, we have a whole different discussion. Not only that, you played against Phoenix. We all know DeAndre Ayton ain't that guy.
I get that, but he didn't make the shot, and they beat Phoenix. So there you have it. We're not doing what could have happened, what coulda, woulda, shoulda. We're not doing that.
So with Boston retooled, at least having the key component that was missing, even if they have Chris Middleton, I'm saying I don't think that they can beat Boston.
Is Jason Tatum going to take off that armband?
He had the armband on and beat them. He had the armband on.
They had no
and he
Chris
beat them.
Middleton.
I don't know. I just see that Boston got better with the addition of Malcolm Brogdon. And they got better because they now have that year of experience in the finals. Giannis knows what it's like to win it. But the experience that you get from losing it also is a teacher as well.
It is. Which it just makes you work harder.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's on both sides.
So when I'm hearing Giannis speak, right? He said he didn't watch the finals this year. Giannis seems more like a player where he's more interested just in the overall journey. Whether I win or I lose, I'm just happy to be on this journey. At a certain point, that mentality is going to get crowded out by the person who's like, I'm not going to lose again. And I can see more of that mentality in Jaylen Brown than Jason Tatum. And I feel like the X factor next year is going to be what's going to be Jaylen Brown's development. Because it could very well be that Jaylen Brown just go off.
Could
Because
be.
he played better than Jason Tatum in this final.
Or could not be. We don't know. Everybody's different. Every team is different. So you don't know how what the team's going to work on during the offseason to make themselves better. Steph Curry had 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years
to turn his body into whatever the hell that is now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he did not look like that last championship we won.
True. That's very true. I get that. We don't know what they were.
So the thing is that you don't know what anybody is working on their off season. It could be none of these teams we talking about. It could be a whole nother team that come out with something different.
Okay, so then let's pose that question. If not those two, right? If not Boston or the Celtics, who do you think is kind of waiting in the weeds. Like, all right, we see the landscape, we see what's going on. Who you think is going to make a push and potentially be the favorite next year out there?
Miami for sure.
You think so? Why do you think that?
I think that Miami,
even though they just lost PJ Tucker,
they did just lose PJ Tucker, but I think Miami's just has more grit about them, and they have more fire, if you get what I'm saying. And
I mean, Bam Adebayo wasn't showing a whole lot of fire in the.
No,
in
he
these
wasn't,
kind of
which was shocking because he had
yeah.
for the rest of the time. But Jason Tatum went to the finals, and
Jason Tatum pulled a whole Bam Adebayo.
But so you get what I'm saying? So you just never know what is happening in a person's brain. So I think, does Miami have a chance next year to still continue to be at the top of the league as well as making it to the finals? Yes. But so does Boston. But so does Milwaukee.
So is that your top three for next year?
That's it.
Yeah, I think.
They were a big possibility, and now they being gutted. So, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I see those three.
Yeah, not within the course of a year. And what I'm interested to see with the Nets, if they decide to keep him, I'm interested to see Steve Nash actually coach. I want to see what
he can actually
systems,
do.
Yeah, I want to see if he's actually going to be able to do it, because we know he was hamstrung by Kyrie and KD.
Absolutely.
Right. But I want to see if he's actually going to be able to go out there, call sets, build a team chemistry. Do they really believe he's that guy for that job?
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to see that, because obviously he's got ties to the Warriors. He was in player development for the Warriors for quite some time. And I just hate how he kind of got, raw dog over there. He got screwed over.
So I think for the East, for me, it will be top 5. I'll say Miami, Milwaukee, Boston, Sixers, and I guess Atlanta.
I was gonna say that too. I like the pickup of DeJounte Murray. It takes Trae Young off the ball a little bit, because both of them can handle. It puts DeJounte in that Klay Thompson role.
But like I said before, Trae needs to get to the gym.
He got to get to the gym. He got to bulk up a little bit.
A little bit.
He's got to bulk up. Because,
a lot of bit. Excuse me. Not a little bit.
Miami
a lot of bit.
Miami punked him.
Absolutely.
And the Bucks punked him.
That's because you got a Jimmy Butler and a Giannis Antetokounmpo.
It's kind of a bad example, because they kind of do that to everybody, but,
I don't know nobody not getting punked by Jimmy Butler, and I don't know nobody not getting punked by Giannis. It's going to happen.
So, but hey, they used to punk Steph. So
they did.
What happened this year be your motivating factor.
I'm saying I like Jimmy Butler, though. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. Ever since we seen Office Christmas Party.
Absolutely. It was a great movie. All right. So switching gears, we're actually going to bring in a league that we haven't really covered over the first 2 episodes. I know it's such a long time, right?
Except your Cam, shout out.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Cam Newton. Like, look at us. We talking routes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? The NFL has its hands kind of mired in controversy right now due to the Cleveland Browns quarterback, Deshaun Watson, obviously having his fair share of massages.
How stupid can you be?
Yeah, so
you are a football player. You can literally go snap your finger and say, "Come here," and somebody will follow you. You thought you was gonna go and get you a Love Me Long Time in a massage parlor, and nobody was gonna know because they're not gonna say anything.
Well,
but
technically
it does
they
not
were bound by the Texans NDAs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But even still, clearly that did not work. So you had a better chance.
Allegedly.
What?
Well, I only said that basically.
Right. Allegedly. Right.
Allegedly.
Because you got to say that so
say,
people don't sue you and stuff.
Right.
But allegedly. But this is not alleged that he was going into massage parlors. That is a known fact.
We know he was receiving massages from unlicensed and licensed massage therapists. And
but here is
allegedly there was misconduct, and allegedly there were things that were happening that the
because it's still in court, so you have to say allegedly.
Allegedly, all of these things are alleged.
Alleged. This is what we're hearing and seeing,
right,
all over the place.
Exactly.
But my thing is that you're a football player. You're not even a unattractive football player.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Because there are a few. But you're not even one of those. You can pretty much go wherever you want and get whoever you want.
And not only that, he's a quarterback.
And you're a quarterback, which changes the game, because the minute you say you're a quarterback, you could not watch football or not be a football fan,
right,
and know a quarterback.
And he was the face of a franchise.
Exactly.
As a quarterback.
So my thing is that
and you won a national
everybody knows you. So I don't understand why you felt the need allegedly to go to the massage parlors to do that when you could have just had Sheila over there or Tanya over there or whoever over there.
Yeah, so Marcellus Wiley on Fox Sports 1, Speak for Yourself, gave a pretty good take, and I reposted it on my social media, about the mentality behind that. He was saying that basically Deshaun Watson is guilty of being a professional freak, right?
So he was getting his alleged Magic Johnson.
Allegedly. I didn't even stop throwing strays here. We're not trying to get canceled before we get going. Goodness gracious.
They just put that in the dang on show.
Look.
I know Magic hates the show, by the way. He really does not like that show. But, yeah. But he also put it in his show, too, so then it changes that.
Okay. Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. All I'm saying is that, it was a good take, because he was basically saying that there's, as a football player, the massage parlors or therapists who are serious about their job, and obviously you can't speak to them in that way. And then there's obviously massage therapists who will provide not happy endings or anything like that, but it's more than just a massage where the conversation changes, and you can tell based on the conversation. Right. And as a athlete, right, and even Teddy Bruschi said this as well, as an athlete, you are not going to change up your care team, so to speak, right, if you know that these people do a good job, because your body is your precious commodity. You're not just going to allow anyone to do work on you because that's your breadwinner.
I get that.
So the fact that he had 66 different massage therapists, and 26 of them have come forward allegedly, or stating that alleged interactions have taken place that were not what they signed up for, is baffling, right? And so, as they said, he's about to pay the stupid tax. You're about to pay your taxes before you pay the bill. You're about to pay the stupid tax, right? Before the actual punishment comes down from any criminal liabilities that may
should have got Sheila over there.
So yeah,
and Tanya
it's
over
a
there,
messed up situation,
or whoever over there.
Yeah, it's definitely a bad
That's
situation.
people's places of business.
Right. Well, going into it, it's more than that, because from what the New York Times report stated was that he was going to a hotel that I guess has ties with Houston Texans or what have you. So
he wasn't even going to the parlor. They were coming to him.
Yeah, again, it's in the So this is from what the New York Times report had on it. Y'all can check it out. I don't have all the details. I'm going based off of what I've been able to see from media outlets that are reporting on it. But apparently, there was a team. Excuse me, not team. It was a hotel that the team had access to, and not only that, apparently the NDA that he was having the women sign came from the head of security at Houston, Texas. That's what's being alleged.
Right.
So in that case, that's why they have named the Houston Texans as a defendant in the case, right? Stating that now the team has culpability.
Okay, but here's what I don't understand. If you're a football player, as well, I'm sure as all other athletes, and you don't change your health and wellness team, the person who give you your massages is always the person that give you your massages. Mm-hmm. Why the extent of all of this? A massage is a massage unless you have more intention of it. And if that is the case, allegedly, you should have just went and got you some hookers.
Well, hookers are not legal in all 50 states. And not only that, but...
Okay, then an escort.
I'm not in that life, so I wouldn't know anything about how to procure and or go about soliciting the services of an escort or person who hooks. So at the end of the day, maybe he faced that issue. Maybe he was just a goody two shoes guy who's like, okay, massage therapist, and he got turned on to the idea that someone was
happy
endings. So he probably heard about this behavior somewhere, or heard about,
absolutely,
oh, this is a thing.
Oh yeah, I can get a massage.
This is the way that I can do this,
and I can get a happy ending. Sign me up. Right.
Maybe he had a bad experience with dating apps, and he's like, I am not doing dating apps anymore. My goodness.
He don't have to have a... He is Deshaun Watson. He can literally go stand on the corner and say, come here.
I mean, but he's going to have to say, come here in the midst of 30,000 fans flocking to him for an autograph.
Get that,
I mean, how do you go and say, hey, lady, I would like to have coitus with you at the same time you're signing Little Johnny's football with your name on it?
Little Johnny ain't in the club. Little Johnny ain't at every event. There is ways. People do it all the time. Normal people do it all the time. So my thing is, as a football player, you can walk in the club, get a VIP, and literally look over the whole entire dance floor, tell your security, tell her to come here, and done.
At the same time, though, if that was the case, right, or I would say, when you do it that way, there's strings attached, because what if the girl wants it to be a serious relationship? Or what if she's trying to entrap the football player? As we understand that that's a very real possibility.
You had
because
all
I've
these,
heard a lot of people say
so
exactly
allegedly you had all of these massage people signing these NDAs, right?
Right. He was using the perceived power of law to.
And you can't do that with Sheila over there or Tanya over there. Lies, because there's a celebrity right now that's having some rando sign an NDA right now as we're talking. She's signing it right now. Why? Because I get to be with whoever.
Approximately 12:13 a.m. If that is happening, whoever's watching the podcast, we just need to know if that's happening right now. It is 12:14 a.m. on July 3rd. If someone could just email m2dgshow@gmail.com. We just want to know, just to tickle our fancy, to see if that actually happened at that moment. Otherwise, that statement was all cap by Mish there. The reason that we talked about this, right? Because we didn't even address that. We weren't trying to get into the whole details of the dissertation and deposition.
That's okay. We were going to
Right.
later, so now we just did it then.
Well, yeah,
so
so-
it's fine.
But the reason that I say that is that's really been the only relevant coverage of the NFL over the past 2-3 months has been the Deshaun Watson case.
I mean, yeah, it's been pretty quiet from. I mean, besides the fact that Brady came back.
Brady came back, but even that news was kind of like, yeah, we kind of expected
We
it.
kind of expected it.
Who retires
like,
at year 44?
said-
Make it 45 for
He said, "FTK."
yeah, F them kids. Speaking of F them kids, I gotta say this too, because the damn skit, whether it be real or fake, is all over.
All
Facebook,
over.
Okay, F them kids. Them ain't my kids. I didn't have them kids. They can eat. I'm getting the burger for my child because I'm sorry. He said he was. So I listened to a couple of things he said, whether it be the skit or real. He said I get him food every other day. The approximate price on a meal at McDonald's, if you get like a Big Mac or a quarter pounder,
Real
is anywhere
life.
from $5 to $10. So if he's getting him food every other day, let's assume that it's on the off days, so he's getting it at least 3 days a week. That is $30 a week for one child. Times 4 is $120. I'd be damned if I spend $90 a week. That is $360 a month for kids that is not mine. F them kids. I'm sorry.
Okay, so my take on the whole thing, because I have not watched the skit, because I found out that it was fake, and I was like, people are in an uproar over something that's not even real. So I have not seen the skit, but I've heard about it.
I saw the skit.
And here's the thing. He buys food for his son 3 times a week. Is that the only time he buys food for his son?
Father of the year.
So my question is that the only time that you buy food for your son ever?
I think that he's saying that was when he was. Again, it's a skit, so we don't know the context or anything like that. It's completely up in the air. But the other thing was, she was like, "Oh, my food stamps. The way my food stamps. Look, you got food stamps. There's a way to feed your kids throughout the week. I'm sorry, you can pack them a sack lunch or what have you. F them kids, brother. Save your money, black man.
The way my food stamps is you can use your food stamps pretty much on anything now, even on Instacart.
Absolutely.
So how is that even a thing? But anyway, we're moving off topic.
Okay. Yes.
Moving on from that, because that's
coverage has
stupid.
been the Deshaun Watson story.
It's stupid.
And the question around that was, obviously the finals were going on. It's the NFL offseason, so you're not going to see a bunch of headlines or splash. And even with that, Tom Brady came back. Nobody really cared, right? I would say the biggest story of the offseason was Tyreek Hill left Kansas City. Right?
Sorry for that, L, by the way.
Yeah, we took a hard L. By the way, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, though that hasn't come out yet because ain't been no relevant NFL topics.
And I'm just married into the team. I'm not really a big football fan, but I do watch it and I do talk about it when it is brought up. But I'm not a huge football fan, so most people will be like, "Oh, you're from here? You're not a Raiders fan or a Niners fan?" I don't really care. So I was like, "Sure, honey, you're a Chiefs fan? Sure, why not?"
Yeah, being a Chiefs fan was collateral damage of being married to me. So
absolutely.
In any case, this is a real question, and I feel like we're getting to that threshold that the NBA has overtaken the NFL in U.S. popularity.
Let me tell you why.
Okay, why?
Because the NBA is a world sport.
Okay.
And the popularity of it has now become a worldwide thing, not just a U.S. thing, where football is just pretty much a U.S. thing. You get what I'm saying? And because the U.S. has taken such drastic changes with a whole bunch of things lately, it's kind of gone downhill from there, because with all the political stuff and the,
Mm-hmm.
the Kaepernick stuff and it's starting to just leave a bad taste in people's mouths.
But
And the thing that was supposed to be like everybody's, pastime other than the MLB as well, is kind of starting to slowly disintegrate into something that people don't really care about anymore.
so when you talk about, because we talked about the Kaepernick stuff, at length for quite some time. But are you saying that was responsible for basically turning people off from it? Because I would venture to say that the NBA is more politically active and more politically conscious than the NFL.
It is, but the difference in the situation is Adam Silver's okay with that,
Okay.
where the NFL owners are not. And that's the problem. So you're not allowing your players to speak their mind when it comes to the politics that they believe in. You're not allowing them to do what it is that they feel to do in any protest that they want to do. It's starting to leave a bad taste in people's mouth. So because now they don't have no right and you're pretty much telling them shut up and play, because that was a known thing that was said by
Laura Ingraham to LeBron James.
well, not even that, by the president of the United States at the time.
That's also true.
And we all know that it is a very known fact that majority of the owners of the NFL were supporters of said president.
At least supporters of the sentiment, primarily because the fan
Like
base-
they voted for him. Like not all. I'm talking about like supporters, like real full-fledged supporters. They voted for him and all of that.
Yeah, well, I would venture to say I'm not disagreeing with the points that you're making with regards to that, right? I'm more so looking at the fact that, one, there's a 54-player team versus a 15-player team.
Yes.
Right? There's 32 NFL teams versus 28 in basketball.
As
It's-
four less, that's not a big deal.
Well, when you multiply it out by 54, right?
yes.
It's a big difference.
Yes.
It's harder to track the stars outside of the quarterbacks, right? So we know,
Right,
primarily
unless
who
you're
the
just
quarterbacks are.
a exceptional wide receiver or a
Right.
exceptional,
Defensive end,
defensive end,
stuff
linebacker,
like that, right.
stuff like that. So unless you're exceptional, like a Tyreek Hill or a Travis Kelce or a, whoever, I only know them because
'cause they're on the
they're
team.
on the team that, I know
okay.
other
I know.
players, but I also only know them because they came from Kansas City Chiefs and went to another team.
Right. We gonna increase your player knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
I know Cam Newton, but he's a quarterback.
Dang it. We gonna work on that.
I know Tom Brady, also a quarterback. I can tell you all the quarterbacks.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's where it starts. But you did good when the season was going on. I was actually showing you what the 3-4 defense, 5-2, 4-3.
I wasn't paying attention. I was like, okay, I know when they throw a flag. I know the downs now, so I know how to count that. That's good. But yeah, other than that, I just kind of watch it. And
So you're saying you're going to be sticking with me through football season, watch every single game so that you can increase your football knowledge?
sure.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
And maybe I'll know a couple more players that aren't on the. I know Jerry Rice.
Okay, that's fine.
But he's also from here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. But, it's an interesting discussion because the NBA, I would say it's obviously, as you said, a global sport. It's easy to get into. All you need is a basketball and a hoop and some people to play with.
I have a friend right now who hasn't watched the NFL since Colin Kaepernick could no longer got banned or whatever the hell happened to him.
So
don't start with Colin.
Okay, look, if you're a football guy, then you know exactly why Kaepernick is not in the league right now. If you're a casual fan,
I get that, but that is not why Colin Kaepernick is not in the league right now. So I need you to stop it.
I am saying this. Colin Kaepernick. Oh, here we go. Nope. I'm gonna save because I already know the backlash I'm gonna get for these comments. I'm already ready for it, but I already know the backlash, and I'm going to reserve those comments for a time where we have more time to further talk about it from a football perspective, coupled with the political perspective. Mm-hmm. Right, so that is a whole podcast in and of itself.
Absolutely.
I'm sure everyone understands where I'm going. If you're a football person, you know exactly where I'm going. And my issue is this, because we're clearly not going to get to the rest of the topics that we have on this card, but that's okay. They're great topics that could each have their own show. But the thing is this. Most of the people that I've seen that have been politically charged to support X player or Y player because of a political stance don't actually watch the sport. They wouldn't have had a interest in it had it not been for a perceived ill or wrongdoing based upon what their stance was.
I mean, I get that. And the thing is that it was kind of a big thing with the whole kneeling thing. But there were players who have been doing that forever who weren't standing for the anthem and things like that. I mean, Marshawn Lynch never stood for the anthem, and he was in the league the whole time, and nobody said anything.
Right.
But now all of a sudden you have somebody who's kneeling for the anthem, and now it's a big deal. But it was only a big deal because it was charged by all the things that were already going on politically.
And not only that, but that form of protest was derived from a consultation with, Nate Silver? He was like a Marine or something like that. He was in the forces or whatnot. So in any case, again, my position on that was strictly from a football perspective, right? And I feel as though we've reached a point, because you could just as easily say that a lot of what Kyrie Irving has done over the past year was channeling a lot of what Kaepernick was trying to do. And I'm not saying that both of them weren't doing.
I will give you that, but Kyrie also think the world is flat. So you get what I'm saying? Like he say some cuckoo stuff. So when you saying a whole bunch of stuff that don't make no sense, and then you say one thing that do make sense, everybody's still saying you don't make sense because you said 50 things before that don't make no sense.
Exactly. So again,
Kanye say a lot of stuff that makes sense too, but he say 100 things that don't make sense.
Hey, you're not crazy. Jordan Lucas told us.
He did. Jordan Lucas said, "You're not crazy."
Okay. And BFP the Pac-Man said, "Can't blame you." Okay, so we gonna get off Kanye.
I'm just saying that is a valid point that I just made.
I'm not discrediting your point. I'm only saying that in the era of, and I have no problem with it, by the way. I have no issue with players of any race, any gender, making political statements.
Absolutely.
And utilizing their platform and the fact, because look, we wouldn't care who these players were if they wasn't on this television screen. So you might as well use the fame that you got,
absolutely, to put your stuff out there. Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of being in America.
But the difference,
right? And having a free exchange of information and ideas.
Right, but the difference is that the NBA is much more open to it than the NFL.
Right. Absolutely. So, in any case, this was a great, engaging conversation once again.
Absolutely.
Had some highs and had some lows.
Did he?
Maybe lows?
No lows? I had a
okay.
I had a good time.
Yeah, it was a great time. Great time. Still sipping. My drink is not empty. In any case, it was great chopping it up with y'all. Feel free, like, share, subscribe. I'm just playing. We ain't on YouTube yet. Probably will be by the end of the night. But in all seriousness, great show. We do have some other topics that we need to get into, and probably some more that will be coming up tomorrow.
Probably won't happen till Monday though.
Probably won't happen
because you know we have a thing that we do every Sunday with our friends, and we get together and we hang out, and
turn up,
enjoy ourselves, and talk about stuff that happened during the week because it's all helpful to your mental health.
Absolutely. And shout out mental illness. Not like shout out in a positive way, but for those who are dealing with it. Figure out what works for you to get through it. And it could very well be starting a podcast, right? But enjoy yourselves. Happy 4th of July weekend. Stay safe.
Even though we not independent, but yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Oh my goodness. Look, dang it. We're not going to alienate. Look, bye y'all.